The election results are not having a positive effect on Democrats. And so I say, we'll take this seriously. And again, we'll keep it light. Here's at Reddit Lies, which is an account that calls out people on Reddit who are lying. They say Democrat fear-mongering backfired tremendously. And the story is about a person saying that their cousin killed herself due to the election results. They say, this morning, our family received the heartbreaking news that one of my cousins took her own life last night. She had long struggled with mental health issues and was a strong advocate for LGBTQ+ and liberal causes. It was not close to her, but it's a tragedy to live in a time when someone could feel so isolated and hopeless to the point of choosing such a painful path. Her passing is a somber reminder of the toll that polarized times can take on vulnerable hearts. Well, the first thing I'll say is you can't control how people feel about things. This was an individual who had an internal response. That's not society. Everybody's fine. In fact, butter is now $6.50 from $7. So things are getting better. We're hearing police are beginning to enforce the law. But this is a person who took it to the extreme. So I went over to Off My Chest on Reddit. The whole thing is loaded with people who have lost their minds. Here's one saying, nothing matters to me anymore ever since the election. It's just like I don't care anymore because I feel the future won't reflect on anything positive. But there's a ton of these. My friend told me I would lose my aura if I killed myself. Please, nobody do anything like that. And, seek help. There are people who will help you. But this is another person saying, after the election, I felt this way. And they said, don't do that. One person says, I'm utterly destroyed about the election. Something is wrong with the election results. Democrats are losing their minds to an extreme degree.
I think this is what Emil Durkheim wrote about in his book Suicide, where he talks about the idea of anomie, where people that experience the death of their worldview either learn to accept it or they don't accept it. And then this is the result when you don't accept it. It's terrible.
I think this is also an effect of the mental health crisis that we have in this country, and that the left has exacerbated.
The left desires.
And they, you're right, and they don't do anything to fix the mental health crisis. They just continue to allow it to get worse. And
good.
No, I was just going to say, they allow it to get worse, and this is what we have. We have people that think that the world is so bad that they have to do something permanent for something that's temporary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a great way of putting it. Why do you think the MAID program is so popular in Canada?
Happy people, again, happy people don't revolt. Mm-hmm. Happy people do not engage in revolutionary activities. All of the agitprop, which is what it is, all of the stuff that people hear that's like, this is so terrible, Donald Trump is so bad, it's intended to spark a reaction.
Oh yeah.
I don't consider it stochastic terrorism as if they're looking for a specific thing to happen, but they are looking to make people that are a little on the unhappy side more unhappy, because happy people do not engage in revolutionary activities. Right. If you want to change a country from the inside out, you don't go to the people that are happy and have good lives and stuff. You find the people that are unhappy. There's two major groups. It's people that are wealthy and guilty about it. And then there's the people that are marginalized and have mental illness and are miserable for whatever reason it is. And unfortunately, you're going to see people that are on the edge of depression and stuff like that. If you keep hammering down, the world's going to end, this is so bad, blah, 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 you're going to see people commit suicide. Oh, yeah. It is an absolute disgusting thing that we have an entire media industry.
That's what I was just about to say.
That is constantly telling people that Donald Trump is Hitler. And not only is Donald Trump Hitler, even if Donald Trump wasn't Hitler, then the whole world's going to be on fire in 2 decades.
They like
they're telling kids you have no future to grow up to because the world is going to burn.
They like to hijack the demoralized, and then they use the bodies as human shields for their ideologies, and or put them on the streets and do their bidding.
And they'll continue to do it until they're held responsible.
Right.
Yeah. That's 100% true.
Now, here's one of the more extreme off my chests. I just made an appointment to get sterilized, saying that I'm horrified at the outcome of the election with the rise of misogyny and women's rights being stripped away to nothing. The most empowering decision I can make to protect myself. Well, she's 42, so.
This is
Not
terrible.
even
though.
kids.
Terrible. Yeah. I mean, they're doing it to kids.
Yeah, I'm saying like she's older, so
Yeah.
I don't see it as that big a deal, but it's
Right.
an extreme thing.
I mean, I would love to know what rights she had taken away. When Donald Trump won, what rights as a female did she have taken away?
She's probably in Portland.
She probably can't list them. As a female, I had no rights taken away from Donald Trump being elected.
How dare
None.
you say that?
None. So the fact that, she feels in that whole 4B movement that's going on, I don't want to, date men, marry men, have sex with men,
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah. Shaving their heads, I think.
Yeah, but that's what we've been trying to get you to do.
Yeah, they're monks now.
Is to not have one night stands and do all of this crazy stuff. That's the whole point of what we as conservatives have been trying to do. But the fact that you feel like you have to get sterilized because you're not able to go out and get an abortion until birth or until 9 months, it's just crazy that this is the reality. And until mainstream media is held accountable for what they're putting in people's heads, because they are responsible for some of these people's deaths. And
But the mainstream media is over. And so this is what I've been saying all week. I had this realization. So Sam Cedar likes to make a lot of videos about me, and it's crazy. He just lies. So his lie now is that Tim Pool admits he refuses to do any research. And I was like, that's literally never been the subject of conversation. I said that he's criticizing me for having read a news article and commenting on it and then being upset that the news article was incorrect. He turned that into Tim says he refuses to do research. I'm like, whatever, dude. And so I've had people say, well, Tim, why don't you comment on Sam? And I'm like, he's a small channel and he's not really relevant. I mean, I don't care to talk about these liberal pundits and personalities. I think I was absolutely wrong about that. Sam Cedar makes a video about me and gets 200 to 500,000 views. MSNBC can barely crack 60,000. They're getting 60,000. Mm-hmm. And so we're sitting here being like the corporate press and the mainstream media and not realizing that the actual reality is it's people like Sam Cedar, Kyle Kalinske, and David Pakman who have been largely lying. And what is deeply concerning to me is when the corporate press ceases to exist, what are they going to base anything they're saying off of but each other? There's going to be we've been in the trenches. I think we crossed the threshold a long time ago, but we used to have a news apparatus in this country where news would be reported from an original person. Not anymore. Now, I see Jack Posobiec, and he'll put out a tweet saying a White House source has told me this thing. And I say, well, I know Jack and I trust him. Then the left will comment on something, or they make a lot of videos that are just about themselves and other people. That's what they do. But we're going to be drifting away further and further from the point where there's going to be original source reporting.
Well, that and, growing up, the media, when they reported, it was 90% truth, 10% makeup or exaggeration. Now it's the opposite. You can't trust, like you were saying, Tim, you can't trust what is coming from mainstream media because you don't know the source or if it's based in reality.
They'll be replaced by AI real soon.
Oh, I think they'll be.
Yeah.
I think they'll be replaced.
Yeah, but
honestly, we were talking about this earlier. I think they'll be replaced by, alternative media. So
I
War Room, Tim Pool.
I disagree completely.
You don't think that alternative media is going to take the place
Are
of?
you saying in terms of viewership, or I'm saying they're going to be replaced?
AI can't do original reporting.
I'm saying it's just going to be AI producing articles.
Oh,
Right.
I'm not.
And it's going to be fake, made up nonsense.
Yeah.
And we're already starting to see this world. Like I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. I went to the front page of YouTube on a browser that was not signed in. Mm-hmm. So, basically what happens is we're sitting here doing the show and all of a sudden I notice we jumped 20K viewers. And I'm like, wow, they must be featuring or something. So then I pull up on a phone that's not logged in with no accounts and look what YouTube will show to someone with nothing. In reality, the first thing it shows you is blank and it says search for things. But if you go to shorts and then go back, it'll auto-populate random stuff. And sure enough, I was like, oh, look at that. We're featured on the front page, Timcast IRL. Like they're not censoring us the way they used to. I noticed a bunch of videos where they've begun to take clips of, there was one, it said like Tim Pool was arguing with Cenk Uygur. And it was obviously clips from a long time ago of me and Cenk edited to look like we were doing some kind of Zoom conversation. And it was totally, they took a video of me saying something like let's say I'm commenting on Adam Schiff, and Adam Schiff comes out and says, I've got the proof of Russian disinformation. And I respond with, no, you do not. That is wrong. You're making this up. It's not true. You're going to sit here and lie to everybody. They take that clip, put it next to Cenk Uygur saying something like, Donald Trump clearly did this. Then I respond, and they got 50K views or whatever. And then people aren't realizing that that's not a real conversation between me and Cenk, but it makes a ton of traffic. So I saw a bunch of these. There was one where it was like David Pakman was arguing with somebody. I'm like, yeah, that's not a real argument. Those are clips randomly selected, and people are making channels where they're like, can you believe what was said here? That's where we're at now.
That's a whole other dimension.
When AI articles start popping up that fabricate stuff, and they do. Dude, there's when Donald Trump was nearly assassinated, one of the things that went viral is you'd go on ChatGPT and say, like a week later, what happened to Donald Trump at the Butler rally? It would go, nothing happened. And you'd say, no, here's a link. Someone almost killed Donald Trump. It would respond, that's actually not true. No one has ever tried to kill Donald Trump. It just made stuff up. When AI starts writing articles, and it already does,
Definitely.
I think it was like, I can't remember which, I think ESPN or maybe not ESPN.
Someone got in trouble for it.
Yeah, some sporting thing got in trouble for having a fake guy writing AI articles.
Yeah.
It's going to be fabricated information. People are going to then comment on that information. It's going to inform voters. There will be no original reporting. And then what?
It's a whole other Mandela effect opening up because people are going to believe those things. Like you're saying, people are making videos based off fake videos. People are going to watch those videos.
Here's one thing I caught today. I'm just going to say it because I don't care. I'm a crazy person. But we're navigating we're exploring a lawsuit against Wikipedia. So anybody who watches me consistently knows I've never advocated for ivermectin. I rejected ivermectin to Joe Rogan's face, told him I don't think it works. I said to Joe Rogan on the show, I think what ends up happening is in these countries where they take ivermectin is that it cures them of worms, which alleviates their immune system. And then when they're able to beat COVID, they think the ivermectin is what did it, when all it really did was deal with their parasites. Joe argued and said, no, it's a protease inhibitor, and that has a negative impact on ivermectin. I said, well, whatever, agree to disagree, fine, whatever. When I got COVID, we got a series of treatment prescriptions. Monoclonal antibodies was the principal one. And that's what I got. And that's what cured me. I don't know if it cure is the right word, but we had a nurse do IV fluids, and I got monoclonal antibodies. And the next day, within 8 hours, I was better. 4 days later, the doctor called and said, I'm prescribing you ivermectin. And I said, I don't want it. I feel fine. And she said, well, I want you to take it anyway. And I said, but if I don't need it, why am I going to get it? And she said, look, I'm prescribing you as your doctor. I want you to take this. If you don't take it and you end up getting sick, don't complain to me. I'm telling you what I want you to do. And if you don't want to do it, fine. And I said, okay, fine, whatever. Gizmodo wrote a fake article saying Tim Pool was an advocate for ivermectin who sought it out. Totally fabricated. They then put it in my Wikipedia and claimed Newsweek is unreliable and Gizmodo is reliable. I'm not going to, it's insane. It's just absolutely fabricated across the board. They claim that we're in the post-truth reality, these Democrats, these liberals, when they're the ones who principally do it. You can pull up my videos where I'm like, I didn't want it. I told them I didn't want it. I argued with her, but I said, okay, fine. My doctor prescribed it. I'll just do what my doctor says. So I talked to my lawyer today and said, we're going to sue Wikipedia. The argument is Wikipedia articles have a byline that says from Wikipedia. It doesn't say from, Cruiser Dude 43, some random user. It says from Wikipedia. So if Wikipedia, from Wikipedia, wants to make an assertion, a statement of fact that I sought ivermectin when I've spoken out against it over and over again, then we're going to sue them.
Great.
Good.
Yeah.
I never liked Wikipedia. I enjoy it for what it is, but when we were teaching journalism in college, all the handbooks across many colleges were like, you can never have your students use it as a source because it's bogus and anyone can go in and change anything. It's great as a diving board to look at the bottom, see where they're sourcing their information, but that thing is a cesspool.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.